and you want to own it, you can work with me, because once you figure out what type of questions people ask in the vertical, it's something that we can reproduce and resell through the whole domain.
Great, great. Kim, you're on mute.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kim Warren Martin, and I facilitate a program called Reignite Her Light, where we help women leaders recalibrate to live the legacy they want to leave. And I read a stat that said the number one regret people have on their deathbed is that they lived life the way they were expected to live, not the way they wanted to live. I know that feeling, so that is the impetus for the work that I do.
That's powerful. And Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin Foster, and I help companies keep their employees on the right side of the ethical line and out of prison. And I'm on LinkedIn every day, but I'm not really using it effectively. So I met Troy and John earlier today. I was on the same call that Troy was on, and I'm anxious to learn a little bit more. And especially I want to hear about LinkedIn Live. Every Wednesday, I do Everything Ethics talk show that I do on Zoom that I repurpose for broadcast, for podcasting. I'd like to learn more about how to do that with LinkedIn Live.
Got it, got it. Mohammed.
Mohammed Siddiq. I help people to produce podcasts. I do a 30 podcast a week. I've done 6 podcasts today alone. So, and guest booking, post-production, podcasting, and beside podcasting, I am a real estate investor. We are building a safe city in Tennessee, 4,000 acres. My partner is a $10 billion guy, owns over 48 businesses, 160 miles worth of beachfront properties all around the globe, including in the US.
Great. I have a little technical issue here. Let me see, Selena.
Okay, I am Selena. I'm from Office Mercenary. We're a group of US-based virtual assistants that help small and medium-sized businesses get back to doing what they love and what they enjoy in their business.
Great, great. So, Alan, you ready? You're on mute, Alan. Oh, you're saying you have no mic. Got it. Okay, Bonnie.
Hey everybody, I'm Bonnie Paget. I am a marketing and communications executive. So officially my job is to help support the companies that I work with to define their brand strategy and to support the sales teams in defining and selling their unique value proposition. But really what I've been doing is helping Fortune 500 companies create amazing shopper experiences inside their stores.
Very nice. See, Lynn.
Hi, I do consulting in public speaking for medical offices that want to implement stem cell therapy.
That's actually really interesting.
Thanks.
I didn't know that. I always want them to do intravenous stem cells. I thought that would be but they don't do that here in America, do they?
It's coming because I also sell for biogenics, and it's the only product that you can actually do intravenously. So.
Oh, well, we should talk.
We should talk.
My good friend Lydia.
She's muted.
You're muted.
Oh, crap. Hi, Lydia Sugarman here in San Francisco. So how many days have you found yourself wondering why you're using so many different applications to build, grow, and manage your business? The time it takes, the money it costs, the opportunities that are lost. So Finiv is a better way to work together, whether it's applications or your teams. We help you work together better.
So do you have a self-inclusive system that has a lot of these components, I'm imagining, right?
It does it all.
Okay, awesome.
So, yeah, the website.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The website is VENNTIVE.com.
By the way, feel free to post up your LinkedIn and phone number and email if you like. If you want to post it up there, then you're basically saying, go ahead and connect with me. So that's very open-ended. Jason Cement.
So hi, I'm Jason Cement. I'm out in LA. My agency is called Get Visible. We're a 15-person marketing team. We build and promote websites. Start SEO is where we really got our strength, and then pay-per-click and social media and all that kind of stuff. That's it.
Awesome. Did I miss anyone? No? Fadi, then me, then Dr. A. Fadi.
Hello everybody, here from Atlanta, Georgia, Fadi Malouf. I'm the host of your Strongest Hour mini mastermind that is hosted 12:30 Eastern time. Excuse me, I need to get some food in me.
Oh my goodness.
12:30 Eastern time, we host a really great mastermind, about 15 to 30 people, and we collaborate and work together in solving problems. Every week we have a new guest, and by the way, coming up on a speaker roster, Dr. Kim Martin here, you just heard from her a little bit. We'll give you an idea who's going to be our next or upcoming speaker. Come join us. We'd love to have you to interact, solve problems together, ignite new connections, and deepen existing ones. Fadi Malouf with your Strongest Hour live coming in. This is why I'm here, I want to learn from you, sir, on how to go live on LinkedIn. I'm approved, and now it's just, letting it rip.
Yeah, Fadi's so excited.
Hey, Fadi, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How do you get approved? I have been rejected for last 18 months.
Really? Good question. I'm not really sure. I think it has to do with, I think maybe how many connections you have, your level of engagement, the quality of engagement that you have with the connections on LinkedIn, I think has something to do with it. I actually got approved, it's been probably about 2 months, and I really haven't put in the time to just go live yet. And also the show was having like 8 to 12 people, and now it's gotten so big. We're about 35 people, and it's getting to the point where only paid members can actually be in the mastermind session, and everybody else can participate still, but through LinkedIn. And that's one of the motivators of why we haven't gone live yet, but that's going to happen here in the next week or two. So to answer your question, I apologize. I hope I answered it in some way. I think it has to do with the engagement primarily.
Fadi, can you give the link to the your Strongest Hour on the chat?
For more information or to register?
Just to register, yeah.
Okay.
Or whatever you want, yeah. I think that makes sense. And we just had someone else join us. Is that Pele?
Dr. Play.
Hey, how are you doing? You are in an alternate universe, I see.
Just a second.
Okay, well, we'll work with that. Oh, it's warming up. There you go. There you go. So we're doing our 30-second, and you're the last one. So you get to say anything you want for 30 seconds, and then I say my little spiel, and then we have Dr. A talking about LinkedIn Live and what it's done for her. So did I pronounce it right? Is it Pele?
Just a second. Yes. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. I apologize for my tardiness. I was in another podcast, and you know how that goes, right?
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to cut mine off before the end of the hour, even if we're in the middle of a conversation. But go right ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You got 30 seconds.
Just a second. Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me, Troy?
I can.
All right. I just can't hear myself, but that's okay. So, Troy, please, if you don't mind, what am I asked to say? Just who I am and what I do or something like that?
Whatever your heart desires. You have 30 seconds.
Hold on.
It's usually about yourself, what you're doing, whatever you want to tell us about.
Let's go ahead and say that again.
Yeah, it's 30 seconds to tell me about anything you want to us to know as a group. This is our networking portion. And so what we're doing is we're posting our information in the chat so people can connect and talk later if there's something of interest. Can you not hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Troy. I'm the host of this event. I have a weekly event. I also have a business called Return Client, and what I do is drive more business and extend your personality. So I'm here to help, and so that's my main goal. And the clients that I work with have that same goal in mind to help other individuals. Um, would you like to give your 30 seconds, Pele?
Okay, thank you so much for the structure. So my name is Dr. Pillay, and I actually know a couple of you here. I know Sadiq, I know Troy. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. I own a company called Profitable Happiness, and my mission in life is to help entrepreneurs and businesses connect the things that make us happy to the things that make us profitable. I have a software product called Velocity-Jam that helps to do that through content marketing on LinkedIn and YouTube. Thanks, Troy.
Yeah, awesome. That Velocity Jam sounds interesting. All right, without further delay, we have Dr. A. We want to hear this story. How does it work? How are you generating money? Ups and downs. Take it away.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much for inviting me to be here. And it's so lovely to meet everyone here. That really energizes me a lot. So for me, just a quick introduction. And I am actually a professor dropout or a professor turned entrepreneur. And I got my master from Syracuse. And I got my PhD from the University of Maryland. And both of them are in the United States. And started teaching in the classroom. So I taught in the classroom for, my gosh, 2 decades, hard to believe. And so I saw how broken the education model is. So I always try my best to really break down the classroom walls so that students don't only learn from me, but actually learning from industry professionals. So that was really my very first inspiration and motivation to start live streaming back in 2016. And the very first live streaming platform I embraced was it's called Blab, B-L-A-B. Anyone heard of it? Yes, so I was there blabbing every day in my pajamas. That was really my first time to have a taste of this. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So I was teaching classes, I was interviewing people. So the next year, Facebook Live became really popular. So I jumped onto Facebook Live, started to do live streaming. So that's 2017. And then the following year, as my show continued to grow, I got people like Seth Godin, Neil Patel, Guy Kawasaki, and Troy also came to my show, a bunch of big name people. And that was the year I started to receive speaking engagement. Most of the speaking engagements I did in the United States are free, but I started to receive paid speaking engagement outside the United States. So that was my very first taste. I was like, wow, you guys discovered me through my live streaming. Now you paid me to speak. And it was pretty good. And then the following year, 17, 18, and my show continued to grow. And that's how I started to really want to run my business. And I can show you guys here. It's my mug. So we have some like bunch of swag from my school. And so I started to have people discover me. And also in 2018 was when I started, I think it was LinkedIn Live came, either 18 or 19. I think probably 18 came. So I was one of the first group of people who got access to LinkedIn. So what I noticed was really interesting that people who used to watch me on Facebook, they all came to LinkedIn to watch me. And fast forward to today, I have been doing this live streaming for 4 years. So I go live on LinkedIn, I go live on Facebook, on my personal page, on my business page, and also within my Facebook group. I also go live on Twitter. I also go live on YouTube. I also go live on Twitch. So 6 or 7 places at the same time. And I share with Troy, and at least 2/3 of my clients actually came from my live streaming show. So it has been such an incredible journey. And I think some of you asked LinkedIn Live approval. I helped quite a few of my clients to get approved. And I want to share with you, like, even if you feel like you have a very small number of followers, it doesn't hurt. So one of my clients, she had about like maybe 500 people on her LinkedIn, and she was not even active. So I did her application. So what I did mention in the application was the content that you are going to do on a regular basis. Because if you review LinkedIn application, they told you they don't want people to come to LinkedIn to start to promote their business, to sell stuff, cold selling, all those things. Even though many people do that, you just don't want to communicate that message. So you want to, in your application, to show and to tell them how your content is going to benefit the entire community. So to me, that is very, very important, because they don't want you to spam them. So you want to add that. I think another one is a frequency, like how often do you want to go live? So you also, if you are only going live once a month, I think LinkedIn doesn't like that. So like for me, at least once a week. Okay, so that's, and also if you were a guest on other people's LinkedIn live, so definitely mention that. So for all of my clients, I mentioned, hey, this person did a LinkedIn live with Dr. I, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if that helped you or not, but I mention it all the time. And last but not least, if you are already embracing video on Facebook or on YouTube, so that will enhance your chances of being accepted in terms of LinkedIn Live. And so that's kind of my journey and my background. And my show now also we have sponsors, paid sponsorship, which I really love and appreciate a lot. And so I have two different, I actually have three. So I have three different, so I started with one, but I see how much this is really helping me build my brand and grow my business. So I increased 1 to 2, and now I have 3. So I can share with you. So one is on Tuesday. So that one is mainly for me to kind of survey my audience, because I work in the education space. Our tagline is, we future-proof the next generation by teaching them what schools are not. So on Tuesday's show, it's called Parenting Corner. So I interview lots of people kind of in my ideal audience target. So I invite them on my show. I ask them their struggles, their pains, the good, the bad, and the ugly of parenting. And I benefited so much from that show in terms of getting to know my audience. Don't ever assume, that's one thing I learned, what you think are your audience struggles oftentimes is very different from their real struggles. So don't ever make that assumption. So I have a show designated to serving my audience. And I frequently use their language when I do my marketing, when I do my messaging, has helped me so much. And some of them have also become my clients, because when they come to my show, they're like, oh, wow, it seems like you know what you are talking about. So naturally, they want to learn more, they follow me. So that is one on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I have another show which focuses on social media, on marketing, on business. So I recently just interviewed Dennis Yu on my show. I don't know if you guys know him. He's really a big name in digital marketing. So we had lots of people join the show. And this show is really helped me to network with people like Dennis Yu, to network with people like Neil Patel and Seth Godin. And also because digital marketing is something that I cover in my own business. So I want to learn, I want to network. So that's my second show, which is also the very first show I launched. My third show is inspired by my interview with Seth Godin. It's on Friday. And the third show is called What is School For? So on the show, I actually interview many education leaders, parenting experts. We come and we discuss, debate, and disrupt education. And that show has generated so many leads for me, for my business, like a lot. And because what I'm talking about on the show is very relevant to my business and also relevant to the struggles that my clients are facing. So I guess sharing that with you is that I see so many people just launch a show for the sake of launching a show. They don't really understand what they need to do that. But what I'm trying to say to you is that launching a show takes lots of work. But also you want to make sure the show is in perfect alignment with your business, okay? And you need that alignment so your show is actually moving your business forward. It's not another thing that you have to do, but either helping you build authority or building your network or helping you generate leads. Whatever, you need to be very clear about that end goal in terms of launching the show. I mean, otherwise you don't even need to start because it is lots of work. So that's kind of my journey and some of my tips.
So you have 3 shows a week. And how long does it take you to prep? Like, for the idea, you have to go get guest speakers sometimes. I was a guest speaker on one of your shows. I don't even know how we connected. I know it's LinkedIn. I know my system connected with you on LinkedIn, but I don't know how you wanted me to be on your show because I'm not an educator. So-
Yeah, I think, I think either you suggested or you sent me like a LinkedIn document or like a Google Doc that you did. I was like, wow, that's really cool. And you can definitely come to talk on my marketing show to talk about LinkedIn and lead generation. Yeah. So yeah. So for like, it takes lots of time, to be honest with you, especially when I have people really, really high profile and they will have specific requests and they want me to do a blog recap. Yeah, like for example, when Dennis Yu came to my show, I think the last time he came to my show, which was a few years ago, for those of you who are in Facebook ads, you probably have heard of him. But anyway, so I wrote a blog recap based on our interview. And even like 2 years later, he told me that blog article is still generating leads for him. Because I love writing, I do lots of SEO for my own content. And so for guys like that, like I spend at least 1 hour to be prepared, maybe even 2 hours to get prepared, research the people and develop questions, which is really important. I do not ask generic questions. I ask very specific questions. I even say, hey, Jason, you mentioned in episode 3 in your own podcast that this is a good point. Why is that? And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe how much research you have done about me. And that
the problem is he doesn't remember what episode 3 was about.
Like it really gives you like creates a good impression on someone else. So like that, at least 2 hours to be prepared, like questions, research. I ask great questions. So that is kind of even before the show. So my show is 1 hour. So if you add 1 hour running the show, so after the show is over and so my assistant or sometimes me, and we do a blog article recap of the show, and we get video clips of the show. So that is another, depending on how long you want the blog article to be, can be 1 hour, can be 5 hours. So it takes lots of time, but the ROI, if you have the strategy part in place, you know exactly why you're launching the show, how the show is going to help you, is so worth it. It's so worth it.
So you're saying strategy is the key.
Oh, it's so important. I mean, I started my show 4 years ago, and many of my friends, we kind of started together. And at least 70% of my friends, they all give up on this because they didn't see any ROI. It is so much work. Why do I even bother? But for me, and because I really have the strategy in place, and I know exactly what I'm doing, and even the people I invite on my show, very intentional. Like if it's a big day, it means that I want you at some point in my business to use this big name to give a talk to my students or help me with certain things. So I'm very, very intentional. And so
you're multicasting the opportunities, basically.
Oh, 100%. Otherwise, why do I invest 5 hours on something if it is not generating ROI for me? Yeah.
So just mathematically, 3 hours for the 3 shows, just the time for the show, like kind of like what we're doing here. About 2 hours of prep per show. You're talking about 9 or 10 hours, and then to create a blog and chop up the video, you're talking about 4 or 5 hours each. So you're actually putting in, say, 25 hours a week for that portion of your business, whether it's you or your partner or assistant or whatever. So it's quite a bit of work, and you're
Totally.
intentionally figuring out the angles.
100%. And also I run my own school. Like for example, parents, they will also like, they will come to me, tell me, hey, I'm really struggling with motivating my children. Like I will intentionally find a parenting or education expert who specializes in motivating kids. So I'll interview that guy or girl on my show, and I do the blog recap, and then that becomes my digital asset to share with my clients. And they'll be like, wow, this is amazing, right? And they also love it is such a great way to build your authority. And I can't tell you how many people they start to trust me because they see my face and Seth Godin on the same screen, right? They're like, oh, Seth Godin, you must be good. And so that's why I love doing interviews, especially if you are looking for a faster way to build authority. The best way is to borrow other people's authority. And so that can really boost your own credibility and authority. And I have done that for the past 4 years, and it has been working really well. And when parents, when your clients see you and the big name in your industry, they just like trust you. Like, yeah, they're like, I can't tell you how many times people come to me and they will tell me, hey, I know you so much. What do you sell? What can I buy from you? Even though I have no idea who they are, but they watch so many of my shows. There are so many lurkers out there. So don't feel like discouraged. Oh my God, nobody's watching my show. Nobody's engaging with me. But trust me, people are checking you out. And many of my clients, I don't even know who they are, but they have been lurking on my shows, on my content for half a year, sometimes for an entire year before they reach out to me. But by the time they reach out to me, they're ready to give me their credit card, right? Hey, tell me, I trust you. This is amazing. I consume so much of your content. How can you help me? And here's my credit card. It is such a great way to run a business, especially nowadays with so many spammers, so much noise. But if you are offering so much value, it makes a huge difference, and people listen to you. And also do the interview format, you and other authorities in your industry, that can really, really help a lot.
So you brought up something very interesting, and we're talking about value, and you said that what's important to you may not be important to the audience. So how do you find that distinction? Not this distinction. How do you find out what's important for that audience?
I mean, like I did an entire training on this topic. I sometimes, so besides interviewing people, I also just like on my own show, I just come out to do solo training to really show people how much I actually know. So there are quite a few ways. And the easiest way is to do a Zoom chat, right? Like, hey, you can say on, like, for example, on LinkedIn, you can, hey, I am writing an article about the top 10 struggles of parents who are also entrepreneurs. And I would love to borrow 10 minutes of your time. But if I happen to use your message, I will make sure to give you a big shout out in my article. So if you do that, if you are writing an article, everyone loves some sort of publicity. So you can do that, just like do a kind of like, I'm on a mission to change parenting for the next generation. And I want to borrow 10 minutes from you. If you are a parent, if you are an entrepreneur, so I target 6-figure. So if you are a parent, if you are a 6-figure entrepreneur, so this interview is for you. And to compensate your time, I'm going to write this comprehensive article. And if you are, I used to write for Entrepreneur. So I sometimes say that I will submit the article to Entrepreneur or Forbes, and I will like mention.
Oh, that would totally get me. Yeah.
Yeah, I will mention your name and all those things. And people are like, yeah, I'm in. So they will spend 10 minutes or sometimes 20 minutes. So you talk to those people one-on-one or like, or even in a small group. That is super helpful. And the second way, there are a number of ways. The second way I use is I use groups a lot, like Facebook group. And maybe I can even share my screen, but like, should I share my screen? Or no, I just talk. Hi. Okay, so maybe let me share my screen. So I don't know, like you guys are in different niches. Like for me, I'm in parenting. And so let me share my screen.
Yes, you can do it now.
So for example, okay, so Facebook. So I pretty much, and this is something that you don't have to do yourself. So I asked my VA to identify all the relevant parenting Facebook groups, okay? So I just use this one as an example. Sorry, my computer is not working really well because my cat just damaged my keyboard.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You have like 50
Yeah.
pages. That might have something to do with it.
Only, yeah. Yeah, normally I have a lot more, yeah. But like, for example, this one is called Parenting Teens. And this is, again, what my VA helped me discover. And he actually created a long list. And so this group is like, it's pretty active. So you want to choose a Facebook group within your niche, and people are really, really active. And I just go there every day. I don't even do this myself anymore. So I asked my VA to come here to look through people's posts. What are they talking about? What are their struggles? What are their pain points? And he actually spent, I don't know, 1 hour or 30 minutes or so. And I have to say that doing this is just one of the groups that I do, and has generated quite a few warm leads for me. And I can even share with you some of the, and so once my VA identify good posts, because he knows what I do, so he will actually save the post to, on Facebook, you can create different categories to save posts. So he created a post called prospects. So every time when he sees a good post that he thinks I can really sell my service, so he saves that post to this category called prospect. And then, so by the end of the day, sometimes I'm lazy. So by the end of the week, I will actually go there to respond to all the posts that he has saved for me. And I have get people to do calls with me just because like the comments that I leave, like for example, here, I can just like search my name here. I mean, you can do the same thing on LinkedIn, but I don't think LinkedIn group is as active as Facebook.
Yeah, you're right. They're not as active.
Yeah, but you can see like my answers are long. So like if I show up, and I will actually leave a very meaningful like answer. And there's a call to action. I will ask, hey, if you want to learn more about this, how I do this, send me a DM. But I always start with my very first, second, or even third paragraphs with a very good point, drop lots of value. And at the end, I say, hey, DM or email me. And if you want to chat, or sometimes I promote my webinar there. I see here, I'm answering the question. I'm also sharing my masterclass, and but I also offer lots of.
So you appropriately market yourself. Only
look at this.
Only when the right time comes up. And are you writing this, or is your VA writing this?
So I have, because I have been doing this for some time. So we have a separate Google Doc that has all of my answers. So sometimes I do it, but even I do it, I just copy and paste, right? This. And so like, but look at this, right? If you see a comment like this, I think most people will be like, wow, this is crazy. And so it is another way for me to kind of warm up.
Was this copied and posted, this one right here, or did you write?
I don't even remember. I definitely. So for all of the posts, I have copy and paste component because they all struggle with similar issues, and I don't want to repeat myself all the time. And so I have like different. I also use Asana. I use Slack. So I have different standard operation systems I created. So I do lots of copy and pasting. And but like also the reason I suggest this, if you identified the right group, they will talk about struggles, right? Like for example, here it's talking about homework and like not motivated. I have learned so much from just being a looker here. And also I'm trying to build myself as an authority in this particular Facebook group. It has been really powerful. So you guys can do this and you can see exactly, they know the struggle and like social media, which is what I talk about. And I see that so many parents are complaining about social media. So many parents are complaining about their children have no motivation. So, to answer your question, Troy, how do you discover like what are the struggles, what are the pain points I shared. You can do interview, you can do this type of kind of lurking, doing your research or asking VA to do this Facebook group, and both of them are really helpful. I also do something else on Instagram.
Well, I love the fact that the gold nugget, besides me not having LinkedIn Live, but the gold nugget that you just said is that you systematically go through this. So whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, you could have a VA research and pull particular information, because I have an FAQ document for me, and they have shorter answers because LinkedIn, when you do a direct message, you want it short.
Yeah.
But you could have a longer set of answers to reply back to some of these posts. So I would imagine the same thing you do for Facebook, you could kind of do for LinkedIn.
Okay, totally. 100%. I don't know if, yeah. So for everything, so the same theory, like on YouTube, I do the same strategy. I search your keyword, or my VA search your keyword, and then we save videos, and we do like meaningful comment, and it works really, really well. I can even share, this is normally I share with my private client, but I love Troy so much. So
thank you.
So yeah, so here is, for example, so I also use, I don't know if you guys use Asana. So I use Asana a lot. And so I use Slack to communicate with my VA. And I use Asana for kind of to run my business. I do a lot of planning. So this is kind of my calendar. But you can see here is my.
So Asana is a scheduling management tool, right?
Not really. I feel like it's more so for project management.
Yeah.
But you can see this is SOPs for VA. So what this means is standard operating systems or procedures for my VA, whoever the VA is working with me at the time. So for everything, I tell him exactly what needs to do, the different steps. So there's really no confusion.
This is more, I do the same thing, but this is more efficient because I do it in Google Docs and stuff. And this right here would be kind of a little more congruent, a little more put together and organized.
Yeah, so this makes onboarding a new staff so much easier. Even if my VA leaves me and the next one comes, it takes us 0 minutes, maybe not 5 minutes. Everything, hey, it's here. There's like, can you read step 1, step 2, step 3? So I have different things. I have like LinkedIn for the people who viewed my profile, what to say. For LinkedIn cold audience, this is what you say. And just like for everything, it definitely took me lots of time to create this. But see, like first message, after connecting, you send this message, offer value, question, opt in, and a number of things. We also have this is the link for my digital assets. We have the important links here. That's kind of one is like here, you see, this is my big document, like standard Facebook responses for Facebook groups. Sometimes he copy and paste or I copy and paste, but all the answers are here. So I don't have to think, oh, what do I say? Or repeat myself. I just pretty much copying and pasting. And yeah, like just like as you can see.
On the standard Facebook responses, if you open that, will you see a lot of different options for responses, how you set it up?
No, this one is really simple. It's just like a Google Doc. Kind of in this Google Doc, we have like different categories and things like that.
Anything that becomes too complicated, you branch off to a document or.
Yeah, because it's like easier, lots of copy and pasting. But we also have like sending email, code messages, and organic invitation, all those things. So this is something, is my secret between my VA and me, and he knows what to do. And so this has made running my business a lot easier. So this is something I do on top of the podcast. And also what I do kind of is my long answer to your question, Troy, how do I discover people's pain points? We just see some of those examples.
Oh, thank you very much. There was a couple of things that came up. And one is Pat says, very good process. Let's see here. Love your process from Kim. How do you promote your show, teasers and videos and things like that?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot you can do. I mean, you can definitely you can do teasers, you can do paid Facebook ads. I don't do that anymore because I have been doing this for 4 years. It's not like a new show. People kind of know me. And so I just become lazy. I don't even promote that much. But like another thing is that if you are launching a show, you want to be very consistent. I show up at the same time every week for 3 of my shows. For my Tuesday show, it's 12 EST. For my Wednesday show, it's 5 p.m. EST. For my Friday show, it's EST, also at noon. So I don't really change unless there's something major is happening, but it's pretty consistent. Yeah, and my VA definitely helps me. And so I have another entire procedure for my live streaming show. And even when I go live, he will actually be in the live audience, like sharing, hey, this doctor has LinkedIn link, this is her Facebook link, and engaging with people. So he helps me a lot. But I do the biggest part that I don't really outsource is me actually developing the research questions, and that makes a huge difference. Most people think that to run a very successful live streaming show, you have to have the best technology. You don't need to, right? I just have a camera. I have my this ring light here. And you see my microphone. So that's the only thing I need. And so I have to tell you that technology is only 20%. And 80% is the quality of your show, the questions you are asking, what you are doing during the show, after the show. All those things matter a lot more than the 20%, which is technology. So don't feel like, oh, I don't have the best camera, I don't have the best microphone. It doesn't really matter.
I hope you forgive me. I gave your LinkedIn profile out.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
So people can connect with you. And I know that it's hard to type and talk at the same time. So if anyone wants to connect with their guest, I did give her a LinkedIn profile out there. Yeah. So Dr. A is just a great individual. She has good energy. You have a lot of energy. You
I'm actually
I don't like normal humans can't do all that stuff, Oh no, right? Yeah, and you have a little one coming pretty soon too. So, I think what everyone wants to know is, what kind of vitamins are you taking to keep all this stuff going? Because I'm doing a lot of stuff now. I'm trying to exercise. I'm trying to do. I'm being fictitious. I'm sorry, but you do a lot of work, and so so I kind of want to reel it back to LinkedIn Live. And of course, finding a great VA is very important too. That could be a whole nother show. But are you using StreamYard?
I love StreamYard, guys. If any of you wants to give a live a try, it is absolutely StreamYard. I use BeLive, I use Zoom, Ecamm. Oh my God, all the third-party tools out there. Over the last 4 years, I have tried all of them. And that's why StreamYard also sponsors my show, but I truly love them. And like StreamYard is my favorite.
So how many platforms go on StreamYard? I know LinkedIn and Zoom and Facebook Live. Twitter. So you have four you shoot at one time.
YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 5. Okay.
And
Twitch, and that's all through StreamYard.
And I can also go live on my website. So how many is that?
Oh yeah, on your website. That's 6.
Very powerful if you can go live on your website. So that's like typically I can see like 7
I never even thought of that.
places.
I never thought about going live on the website.
It's really, really powerful because people, if you love LinkedIn, you probably don't want to go to Twitter, right? If you love Facebook, which I don't think anyone is in love with Facebook nowadays, but if you do love Facebook, you probably don't want to go to LinkedIn. So people are very fixated on which social media platform they choose to hang out. So you want to go where they are. But I do want to say that it is a lot when you do multi-channel live streaming.
So Kim's asking, using StreamYard to go live on your website. I think Dr. Kim Martin's asking that.
Yeah, you can go live on your website. Yes.
Okay. Fadi has his hand up. Oh, that's what that icon means.
Dr. I, do you ever take a break? Do you ever take a vacation? And if you do you have co-hosts, somebody else that picks up the show for you? Are you always on
I'm not
24/7?
always, I take vacations. So I'm an advocate of like a work-life balance. I think as a content creator, you don't want to feel burned out. I think when I just started on this journey 1 year, and around Christmas, I was like, I told my husband, can you just take away my computer? I don't even want to see it. It's just like, I was so burned out. And so when I take a break, I tell people, guys, I'm taking a break. You should take a break too. And then like sometimes I share a few clips of some of my earlier interviews, and but I don't really go live. Yeah. And I also know, with like Ecamm or some other tools, you can do a pre-recorded video and share that as if it were a live show. I do not recommend that approach at all. I mean, different people have different takes on this. I don't think that's, when I go live, I'm actually live. If I'm not live, I'm actually not live. So yeah, Fadi, what else?
So do you take more than a week off?
So during Christmas, that's a long holiday. I probably took two weeks off.
2 weeks off. You didn't go live. Not. You were just gone. And
I
then
was just
you
gone.
you let them know that you were leaving, and you let them know when you came back.
Yeah, I share. I send a link to my email. So another tool I recommend is called hold on, let me share this in the. I also have a StreamYard code. If you guys want to check it out, that allows you to check out StreamYard for free for 2 weeks. If you have never tried StreamYard, you want to give this a try. So I'm going to share my link with you in the chat box in a second. So I enter in the chat box. It's called Inventable. And so what I do is, hold on, let me share my screen. So I also, so this is like, on Facebook or on LinkedIn, even on LinkedIn after you schedule something, and you can turn on the reminder. So you will rely on LinkedIn to give you a reminder, right? So my approach is that I don't always want to rely on social media to remind my people to watch my show, because on LinkedIn, because so many people are doing LinkedIn Live nowadays, and many people don't even receive reminders at all. So what I do is that I use a third-party tool called Inventable. And then, so this one allows people to save the event directly to their calendar. So they will actually receive a calendar reminder. So you are not relying on Facebook, you're not relying on LinkedIn, you're not relying on anything. And most people check their calendar. So what Inventable does is that also allows people to subscribe to your show. Like my show is kind of categorized under Classroom Without Walls. So people actually subscribe. So when I come back, and I will schedule a show. So those people who truly care about me, who truly love me, and the show will automatically show up on their.
You're absolutely right, because and Fadi knows this. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
I'll get a call and I'll just happen to pick it up, and someone's trying to do business with me, and I say, "Do we have a scheduled meeting?" I'm that mean, because if you don't organize your time, your whole life is going to be chaotic. So you can't have a million tools for that. You have to have, and I think that nowadays having a calendar invite makes sense, especially if you're doing any kind of business. They're all going to use a calendar. If they're not, then maybe they're not in business. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really love that. And I actually have quite a few people subscribe to my live streaming event, and then just using Inventable. I'm sure there are other tools out there. I have already gained like 300 followers subscribing to my live streaming show through Inventable. And then I only started using them last year in April. So which is pretty good, not bad. So like, to answer your question, Fadi, if someone come back, as I reschedule a show, those people who subscribe, they will automatically see an update on their calendar. So that really makes a huge difference. Yeah, so I do take a break. And then, so my baby is coming out in May. So I was already thinking about taking a break in May, maybe even taking a break in June. So that's going to be 2 months. So if for that long, I will probably ask my VA to share clips from earlier interviews, because with LinkedIn, the algorithm is that, correct me if I'm wrong, Troy, that you don't want to take a long break, right? So if you are taking a long break, the algorithm will actually punish you for being absent so long. So you also don't want to do that. Yeah.
Well, there's an opposite too. If you take a long break, it's like you're new again, you know? So I guess it really depends. Yeah, I'm not going to have a show next week. So I'm going to take that week off, you know, and I'll even do a little video on that. So I guess it's always really good to take breaks, you know, so you can kind of refresh and gather your thoughts and kind of go on strong. So one tip that you gave before is if you look like you're advertising for a business, you know, it is a negative to get accepted on LinkedIn Live. So my profile says founder of return client. Should I just say founder?
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
mean,
Yeah.
question, I don't know.
I think maybe you can also mention, because you can also mention that you did an interview with me and say, I work with I closely and I was a guest on her
He's
show.
my best friend.
Yeah, partners in crime, right? So try that. That's what I did for many of my clients. I don't know if that's the missing piece in their application,
Yeah.
but try it. It doesn't
I
hurt.
figured they just don't like me. I don't have a likable personality, so. But it's a good point. Yeah, we have our hands up here, but Rob.
Yeah, question for you, because I noticed that a lot of times when people put together videos or live shows, they always seem to go for the hour long. And sometimes I find that I can't do an hour. I don't have an hour in my day. And a lot of times my clients, business owners, don't have an hour that they're going to just sit there and say, oh, I can dedicate this. Would a shorter show, my whole thought process is do a 15 to 20 minute presentation or education and then open it up for questions at the end. But can you do that on a live show?
Oh, 100%. I think that's a great point, Rob, because you have to do what works for you and also what works for your audience, right? So this is, as you heard, this is like hours of work. So the key is that you want to do something so that you can show up consistently. And also you have to meet the needs of your audience. I actually did quite a few surveys. I asked my people, do you want to watch a show 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or an hour? Most of my people, maybe they have too much free time. They love watching the 1 hour show. And I love talking, as you can see. So like, yeah, let's do the 1 hour show. So it works for me, works for my audience, and may not work for you. And I also have watched many live streaming shows that are like 30 minutes each and perfect. So it doesn't really matter. So you don't want to go too short, like 5 or 10 minutes. And I think that's too short because you want to warm up the algorithm a little bit and give people some time to jump in to have a deeper conversation. So with LinkedIn Live and all the live streaming shows, their goal is to build a community based on meaningful conversations. So it's very hard to have a meaningful conversation in about 10 minutes. So I think if you can do 20 minutes and doing like 10 minutes for Q&A, I think that is perfect. And once you launch it, and don't wait until you feel like you are perfect to launch it, but launch it before you feel like you are ready. And then you can always ask your audience, hey guys, you have been watching me for a few months. What do you think? Is this too short? Do you want to do more? So people will tell you what they want. And my people actually told me, they're like, you need a better camera, you need a better microphone. So I listened to them, and they also told me they want to separate education shows. I kind of separating my business and education. So people will give you lots of feedback. So start and listen and make adjustment.
Well, and I love one of the things that you said, and I think a lot of business leaders and business owners don't do this. And this is usually the first thing that I help them with is you said something early on, which was really relevant. You have to speak in your customer's voice. You have to speak, because a lot of times, especially technical companies, they get all technical and they have a deck that's 20 pages deep. And it's like, your audience is not going to read that. There needs to be a one sheet with 4 bullet points, but you speaking in your customer's voice or your client's voice rather than yours.
It is so, so, so important. That's why I have a separate show designated to just like talking to my folks. I do Facebook lurking to really understand what are the words they're using. Just to give you a quick example, a few years ago, I launched my very first program, which was called Entrepreneurship Immersion, because in my mind, all the children, teenagers, high schoolers, they want to become entrepreneur. And that was a complete disaster. Nobody bought my program until I started to talk to the parents. They're like, I don't really care if my kid is like an entrepreneur or like whatever, but I do want them to learn life skills. I talked to at least 20 to 30 people. Life skills, life skills, life skills. You guys can check out this tool, Alter.ai. So after interview, I just upload the interview to Alter. You get the transcription. I don't even have to read it or listen to it. So I just see the word, like, you can do a cloud analysis. You can see the keywords that people are using. I was like, oh my God, everyone is talking about life skills. So I literally changed my program from entrepreneurship immersion to life accelerator. And last year, my business, and also because of COVID, so my education program just like took off like crazy.
I think we
So
have
that's,
room for
yeah,
one more question, and then we'll kind of wrap it up because I know
it's
people
like
are dropping
talk
off. But Pad asked a question. He said, "Do you accept sponsors for your shows?"
I do, but only if I love them. And if I don't love them, because as a consumer, I hate listening to a show like the first 20 minutes are just commercials. Like, I don't want to do that. So I only take one that I truly love, which is StreamYard. I also shared my discount code that allows you to try out for 2 weeks for free. So that's the only sponsor I do. And I have people approach me all the time, and I don't take everyone.
Yeah, makes sense. Does anyone have any other questions before we wrap up? Because this has been a really good show. So I'm really happy because every show that we're doing is getting a little bit better. Last time we are talking about the app, and then we're talking about business processes and stuff like that. And so I'm just thrilled to have Dr. A here because I don't know everything. So the stuff that you told me just to try to submit, I'm gonna go ahead and change my profile. I'm gonna take my company name off the title. I'm gonna say I know you, and I'm gonna get my VA to post 5 times a week to get. No, I'm just kidding. Once every 2 weeks to apply for a LinkedIn Live, and perhaps we can do that.
Or just create a parent company, Troy, where you have both ISO and return client underneath it, so it's buried a little.
Yeah, we'll call it Umbrella. No, that's I don't know.
Nice talking to everyone. Doctor, thank you so much. This was very helpful. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.